All right, guys, so here we are ready to finish up our summer flat design. We have our umbrella completed. So now it is time to move on to the suitcase. So I'm going to go ahead and hide my umbrella layer. Make sure my suitcase layer is checked. And then let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we need to do is start with a rectangle, since suitcases are pretty rectangular. So I'm going to pull up my rectangle and make a 200 by 130 rectangle. Come up here to change my dimensions. 230 by 130. And we are going to round the corners to 10. I want all four corners rounded, so I got to make sure that they're all linked together. And the color is going to be a pink color. So the code for it is EA7AAD. And no stroke value, so we just have our pale pink suitcase there. So we're going to go ahead and add another rectangle inside of it. This one, the dimensions are going to be 175 by 110. And we want its corners rounded up to 10 as well. So just a smaller version of what we already created. And the color code for this one is going to be F294B6. Go. Get your select tool up so that you can move this. We're going to place it inside for the center to match up and then put it in place. So there's the basis for our suitcase right there. Now we're going to make latches to go onto the suitcase. So in order to do that, we need a very small rectangle. It's going to be 20 by 35. 20 by 35. And we do want the corners of this one to be rounded to 3. Take a look at it. There we go. And let's change the color for this. Make sure you select it. And let's make it a purple color, dark purple. No, sorry, I was reading the wrong one. Let's do magenta for this one. It is DF2754. There we go. Now we're going to put a little purple one on top, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing here, since it is such a small rectangle. So make another small one. This one is 10 by 20, so really tiny. 10 pixels by 20 pixels. And we want its corners rounded to 3 as well. And the color for this one is purple. So it is 4A288C. There we go. So now what I need you to do is you're going to put this on top of your purple one. Have it butting out just a little bit going over the top. And make sure you're marking your center line. See where it intersects in the center. We're going to put a little accent piece onto there. So in order to do that, I want another little rectangle. This one's even tinier. We want this to be a 7 by 4 rectangle. And we're going to round the corners to the maximum on this one. And we want to change the color of it to a pale purple. So I'm going to come over here to my color picker. And the code for that is 9076E2. There we are. Let's move this into place. I'm going to put it right over here on top so it looks like that. Okay. So this is going to be like the latch for your suitcase, and we're going to put 2 of them, so we need to duplicate this. So let's first group all of this together. So I'm going to grab, put a box around it, then do Command G to group, or you can always come up here to Object, and then there's your group option right there. So now that it is grouped, I'm going to make a copy of it. So Command C, then Command V, or remember you can always just click on it, hold down Alt, and pull one over. So those are your options. I'm going to move my screen over just a little bit. So I want to put these latches in place. I'm going to put them about here. I want this one to match up. There we go. That looks good to me. So now those are the latches for our suitcase. And the next step is we're going to put a handle over here in the middle. So the handle is actually going to be made up of 3 separate rectangles. So let's start with our first rectangle. It's going to be a 10 by 30. So 10 pixels by 30 pixels. There we go. And then we're going to duplicate this. So I'm going to hold down Alt and get another one. So this is going to be the 2 sides. Oops, try that again. There we go. So this is my 2 sides of my handle, and then I need one to go across there. So I forgot to color these. We're going to make it magenta. So since I forgot to have you color it, I'm just going to grab my eyedropper tool and click on the magenta there. And then let's do that for this handle over here as well. There we go. All right, now we're going to have one that goes across. So I need to, I'm just going to actually recreate that one. Then come up here to Shape. And the dimensions for this one are 70 by 10. So now, oops, that's 70 by 10. Yep, looks awful big. I guess that's what we need. There we go. So I'm going to move that over here and have this intersect. There we go. You see how we're kind of making a handle out of this whole thing? What we want to do is make sure that these 3 parts become one individual part. So I need to select all 3. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on the top one first, hold down Shift, then click on this one on the left, then this one on the right. Now all 3 of them are connected together. I need to open up my Pathfinder window. So if you don't have your Pathfinder somewhere over here, remember you go up here to Window, and then there it is right there. So make sure you have your Pathfinder window open, and we're going to use the merge function. So that's unite, that's minus front. Got to find which one it is. Trim, there we go, merge. Click on that, and now my 3 shapes become one. So that is the handle for our suitcase. And I'm going to go ahead and try to round these corners right here. So you notice if I click on it, the corners don't show up anymore over here. But if I click on my direct selection tool, notice that now I have corners. So I'm going to click on this corner here. Let's see if I can get it to show up on there. There it is. So see that little, underneath my arrow, that little arc? So you can actually pull, so hold down the left mouse button and you pull that down. So I'm going to pull it till it reads about 3. Doesn't have to be exact, but you do want both sides to match up. Actually, you know what? Let's just go up here. Makes it so much easier. Just type it in. There we go. Now let's do this one over here. So again, you want to move your cursor so that you have that little arc that's underneath. Click on it. And there's my corner. So I can change that to 3. And now get my select tool. There we go. So I have just those two corners that I was able to alter. These are still 90-degree angles there. At least they should be. Yes, they are. All right, so get that in place to where you want it to go. And now we're going to do a little bit of decorating onto our suitcase. So we're going to add a little detail onto the handle. So go ahead and get your rectangle tool again. And we want this to be 50 by 20. And we want the corners to all be rounded to 3. Oops, one too many. There we go. And let's change the color of this to a pale purple, which I'm going to do it the easy way. Get my eyedropper tool, click on that pale purple. There we go. That's what I want. Bring this down. It's going to go in place over there. And the last thing that we need is to have these little glare spots. So get your right click, get your ellipse tool. We're going to just do 2 small circles. That'll be like glare dots. They don't have to be perfect. Don't have to be the same as mine, but we do want a lighter color for them. It's E, F, E, B, F, C. So this is going to be moved over here. Let me grab it. Right there. And I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of it. There we go. And make this one just a little bit bigger. Spread that out a little bit. That one's a little big. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. So you can personalize yours the way you want. So these are just to add a little bit of depth to something that's two-dimensional. There we go. That looks good enough for now. All right, so that's the handle. We've got our latches. Now we're going to put these travel stickers onto the suitcase. So the first one that we're going to make is triangular. So I'm just going to kind of show you some different tools and effects that you can do right now when you go to decorate these things. So let's get a polygon tool. I want it to be 3-sided and not 6-sided. So you can always change it that way, or remember, if once you have your tool on there, you click anywhere on the screen and then this pops up, and then you can change your number of sides that way and it'll draw it for you automatically. Or yet another way you can do it is come over here to the shaper tool and just draw yourself a triangle, and then the computer will put one in there for you. So I'm going to delete that one. I'm going to go ahead and use one of these. So we do want to change the color, or I do want to change the color. I'm going to make this an orange triangle. Oops, sorry, I got in isolation mode. I'm going to get out of isolation mode. So click on that. And let's make this one one of those orange colors that we had on our surfboard. So it's F47A2A. There we go. And we're going to add a stroke value to this one. So come over here, click on that. We want to activate it. And the stroke color for this one is going to be a pale orange. So this is the outline of this triangle. So I want it F9D1AA. And you can see that that's that pale orange. Now if I click off, you can see that outline, but it's not very thick. So we're going to make this thicker. So over here, you see the stroke is at 1 right now. I'm going to increase that to 3. If you want to go all the way up to 5, that's okay. or 4, it's up to you. All depends on how you want it to look. And I do want the corners on this to be rounded. So I got to come up here to my direct selection tool. Now my corners are up. So I'm going to go ahead and round these a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. So there you go. Nice little triangle. And I'm going to put mine over here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And kind of alter it a little bit, change the angle. There we go. So that's just a little sticker that we put on there. Now we're going to do another one. So that's a way I wanted to show you how you can personalize these shapes, making those corners rounded, and then adding a stroke value for an outline. So instead of having to do 2 separate shapes with different colors, you can do that all within one shape and then just change the color with the outline. All right, now let's try the star tool. We haven't done this one yet. So come up here to your polygon tool or your rectangle tool, whatever you have up, and there's this star tool. So again, if you just, once you click it, if you do one click with the left mouse button onto your screen, you get these options. So I'm going to change the points for this one to 20. And have lots of points, a big star. And you can change the radius size if you want. I'm just going to keep it as it is right there. I'm going to hit OK. Look at this nice pink star right there. So I think that's the color I want, but I'm going to double check on this color. Let's see, it should be, nope, that's not the one I want. So let's make this one EA 6A 8E. There we go. It's a little darker pink. So now I'm going to get back over here to my selection tool, and on those corners, I'm going to go ahead and round those corners all up. That's as far as it'll go. So you can change this depending on what you want your final look to be. I'm going to go ahead and round it to the maximum. You can see that's what it looks like there. Let's see. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy this one. So Command C, Command V. There we go there. I'm going to change this one to a darker magenta color. So I'm going to, since I already have my magenta color here, get my eyedropper tool, grab it. There we go. And let's see what they want us to do. I'm going to make this one just slightly bigger than the other one. So I'm going to pull that corner down a little bit, make it a little bit bigger. There we go. I'm going to put this one on top. Oh, went right behind, so I need to rearrange them. So come up here to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. There we go. So now I got that lighter pink one is now in front. And I'm going to go ahead and shrink it a little bit more so I see more of that magenta one. There we go. So again, this is just decorating. It doesn't have to be the exact same as mine. I am going to group these two together. So Command G. I'm going to move it over here to the side. I'm going to have it so the sticker is only partially on the suitcase. So let me go ahead and grab everything. You guys should know what to do now. Do Shift M, hold down Alt, and then I'm going to delete that section there. There we go. Now if you don't like how it went, you want to kind of move it a little bit more, remember just do Command Z until you get it back the way you want. So if I move mine up and over a little bit more, fiddle around with it, figure out what you want, where you want it to go, and then delete the stuff that you don't want. There we go. All right, I have one more sticker that I'm going to put on here, and then my suitcase will be done. So this next one is just going to be made up of 3 separate circles that come together to make one image. So we're going to make 3 circles. So get my ellipse tool. I do want them to be perfect circles, not ovals. So I have 1, and then I'm just going to make a copy of it. Oops, wrong button. There we go. And then yet another one. So I have 3, and I'm going to make each one a little bit bigger than the other one. I want it to be a circle. There we go. Might be a little bit bigger. Okay. So now I want to color all of these a different color, with the smallest one being the lightest color. So click on your smallest one, and let's make that a pale purple. So it is D6, C7, F9. There you go. And then I want the middle one to be brighter, darker color purple. So that's 907, 6E2. And then this last one, back to isolation mode. Sorry, let me get out of the isolation mode. There we go. Needs to be the dark purple, which is that purple there. So you can either grab that with your eyedropper tool or just type in 4A288C. And now I'm going to line them up. Oops. Let me bring to front. So you can also do right click, and then you can range there. Bring that to the front. And this one here, right click, arrange, bring to front. There we go. You see now I have these nice purple circles. I'm going to have to group them together, so when I move them, they all move together. So Command G. And then I'm going to put this one over here. I'm just going to make the whole thing bigger. Once they're grouped, you can change the size and make the whole thing bigger, which is pretty cool. That looks good to me. So now I need to delete the stuff that's hanging over the side. So Shift M. And let's get rid of that. And that. And a little bit right there. All right. The only thing we have left to do now is that shadow effect. There's all the stickers that I want to do. Actually, I want to make that one bigger. It's bugging me. I want a bigger triangle. Okay. So now I'm going to draw my rectangle. Oops. Going a little crazy. I do not want that, so I'm going to pick up my eyedropper. I'm going to actually do the magenta. There we go. And let's come over here to my transparency. Do multiply 30. Ooh, that looks really dark. We'll see how it looks. I think that might be just too dark for me. Nope, there it goes. Okay. So now let me get the whole thing grouped. Shift M and delete that. There we go. Oh, that does not look good. I don't know what happened. Oh, I think I do know what happened. I didn't expand. All right, so I'm going to get rid of this, move it over, grab all of that, go Object, Expand. Let's see if it works now. Well, it looks like it still is in there. Might just have to delete that part. I think that's what we have to do. Just go in there and delete that extra section there, guys. Ooh, I don't know if I like that. If you guys like that, I don't like that shadow effect. I'm getting rid of my shadow. You don't want to do your shadow, don't do your shadow. I don't like it. It did not come out the way that I want it to be. So I'm just not going to do a shadow. You guys don't have to either. We're getting to the point where you should be getting good at this stuff. Oops, forgot to group it. So make sure that you are starting to figure out how this all works. You can start making a little bit of decisions. Remember, your next assignment is you're going to create one of these on your own the way you want it to be. So we are almost done. we have just one thing left to do, and that is to put the whole thing together and add a little bit of details to it to make one finalized scene. So here I am bringing everything back up, and I'm going to start rearranging my artboard or my objects on my artboard. So I'm going to take my surfboard, maybe put it at a little bit of an angle, and I'm going to put my suitcase over here. You guys are free to decorate this, to arrange your objects the way you want them to be. The swim trunks, notice there's always going to be in front of the beach towel. It'll also be in front of the surfboard, but will be behind the suitcase and the umbrella, and that's because of how we have our layers in place. So because this swim shorts is underneath the umbrella layer, that's why it shows up underneath it. So, oops, went back into isolation mode. There we go. So angle your stuff, get it the way you want it to be. And now let's start adding in some little details to our scene. Sorry guys, I'm being a little nitpicky. Okay, now for those details. So the first one is going to be like a plus sign. So I want you to use your line segment tool. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm going to do with this. And we're going to create a vertical line that has 20 pixels for its length. The shape, let's make it an even 20. Right now it has no fill color, it has no stroke color, so we need to go ahead and give it a color. So let's color the stroke value on this. So we don't want to fill, we just want a stroke. So activate your stroke, and then we're going to do a purple color, 907 6E2. And I want the stroke value to go all the way up to 5. Oops, you know what I didn't do, guys? Forgot to put this in my details layer. So right now I'm in my beach towel. I do not want this in my beach towel. So here's what we're going to do. Do Command X, which is cut. Click on details. Make sure your details layer is activated. Then do Command V. And see that now it is there in my details layer. All right, I'm going to turn it a little bit so it's more horizontal, or excuse me, more vertical. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit more because this is so teeny tiny. Oops. All right, good enough because we're going to be moving them anyway. All right, now we're going to make a copy of it. So Command C, Command V, and we want this copy to be perfectly opposite the other one because we're going to make it like a plus sign. $270. Alter this just a little bit. There we go. Now my angle should be perfect. This is where geometry comes in. Okay, so now we need to expand both of these lines. So I'm going to grab them together, go Object, Expand. Okay, then we are going to merge them. So we've got to go back to our Pathfinder. Here's mine. Merge, it's right here. So now I have one shape, and then now I need to round the corners of this so it doesn't look exactly like a plus sign. So go back to your direct selection tool. Here's your corners. We want them all rounded to the maximum, which is 2.5. And now you see this little nice button thing that we have. So now is the fun part. We're going to take these little plus signs and we are just going to keep putting them all over the place. So I'm going to hold down Alt. And I'm just going to start making copies. Whoops, did not want to do that. Hold down Alt. There we go. Make copies of them. And just start putting those, decorating your background. So I'm just holding down Alt, guys, and grabbing them and moving them around. See how we're taking some of that blank space and making it a little bit more interesting. Okay, now I'm just going to move a couple of these that I don't like. They were a little too close together for my taste. Okay, now we're going to add some circles. So come up here to your tools, get your ellipse tool, and we're going to make a 30 by 30 pale pink circle. So I'm going to put this so that, well, first let me do my size. So we want 30 by 30. There we go. And we don't want it to have a fill color. We just want a stroke value. So on your fill, activate that, put no fill. On your stroke, we want this pale pink that's right there. So I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool, click on that. Oops, went the wrong way. Let me see what that color is because I don't believe I copied the code for that. Looks like it's this code here. Let me try that again. So 907 6E2. Let's see if that did. Nope, that's our purple color. It's this color, F9CDDF. But you guys didn't know you could just copy and paste in there, did you? So F9CDDF. There we go. Make this one no fill. And let's bump up that stroke value to 7 on this. Zoom in so you can actually see what I've got. And there we go. It's just a bunch of pale pink little circles. Now we do want to expand it. So make sure you grab it. Object, expand. Okay, there we go. Now we get to copy these. So again, I'm going to hold down Alt and start grabbing, making copies and moving them. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Start making copies of these little pink circles. And helps if you hold down Alt. It's hard grabbing onto. You got to actually grab onto the actual purple, or excuse me, pink circle, or it won't let you copy it and add. Okay, so let's fill it up with however many of these pink circles you want. And the last one is another one, but we're going to do a magenta circle, a little bit smaller. So I'm actually just going to come up here, click on it, won't let me get my shape. Nope, it won't. I gotta draw another one. Okay, so we want this one to be 18 by 18. And we want, again, no fill. And our stroke is going to be that magenta color. So that one was trying to find it. Let me find that magenta color. All right, going back over here. Sorry, guys. go. Didn't do it. Got to zoom in. I can't actually see what's going on here. Need to swap those values. So this, I'm going to copy that. It's DF2754 and put that in here. DF2754. Okay. Now let's expand that stroke value to 7. There we go. And then object expand. Let's make a bunch of these copies. Right now I did copy Command C and then I did Command V. And you'll see I just did a whole bunch of these little circles. So I'm just grabbing all of those. I just kept hitting Command V over and over and over again. So let's see how many I actually made. Just grab them all, move them where you want them to go. I think I did a lot. Hit Command V a lot. Okay, there we go. I'm done. Almost done. We just, oops, kind of altered my circle a bit. I'm going to do one more, a little purple circle, and then last thing we'll have is our background layer. So I'm going to grab this one, and I want it to be purple. There we go. However, it did it backwards again. I want the stroke value to be that purple, not the other way around. I'm going to copy that color code, Command C, and put it in here, Command V, and then no fill. Make that a little bit bigger. Ooh, that might be a little too big. Ooh, I don't know what I just made, but I kind of like it. Something weird happened with that little circle. I don't know how I did that, guys, but I really like it. I think it's kind of cool. So I'm going to save that and expand it. And let's make a bunch of copies of it. So Command C. Let's see how many copies I made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, I should have 10 of these little guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. That's all of them. So yay, there's my final picture. The last thing that I need to do and what you need to do is a background. So go down here to the background. It's the very bottom layer. And all we're going to do is get a big rectangle. We want it to be white for now. And you're going to draw, oops, let me try that again. No outline. It's not quite white, but that's okay. So you're going to draw one big rectangle to cover your artboard. There we go. So what this is it allows you the opportunity to give a little bit more detail to your background. So if you notice, if I move this background all the way up to the front, put it on top, it covers everything up. So I'm going to move it all the way back down to the bottom layer. And now's where you can have a little bit of fun. So if you want to put a gradient in there, this is your gradient tool. And you're going to draw it on there. Let me see what gradient I have. I need my gradient over here. Go to your window. There's my gradient. I just can't, oh, there it is. Right now my gradient's a black and white. I really don't want that, so I want to change it. So I'm clicking on here. Try this blue one. So you notice what happened when I clicked on it. So I can alter it over here. See how it changes the shading. I can do it over here as well. If you click over here, you can add another color block. And if you double click on there, you can change it. Darker purple or blue. This is where you get to have some fun. Adjust the slider a little bit. You can change the opacity of it. You can make it radial or linear. So you have all this fun stuff. So if I don't want it to be full opacity, I'm going to change it over there to 80. So there you go. This is all these cool things that you can do if you just want one solid color on your background. So instead of having a gradient, you can choose your solid color over here. You can change its opacity so it's maybe not quite so bright. Oops, that didn't do it. That's not what I wanted. 400 might be a little too much. So notice how that dimmed it down a little bit. You can always change from over here and keep finding the color that you really like and put it in there. So play around with your background. I had kids last year who would make a beach scene. So this was water over here, and then it made it look like it gradually turned into sand, which was pretty cool. So you can try doing that too. But you personalize that part the way you want. And then that's it. This is the end of this assignment. You guys now should have enough tricks and tools to create your own image, which is the next assignment. So to show me that you did this assignment correctly, you're going to take a screenshot of this. So in order to do that, I want you to go Shift, Command 4, and notice I've got this little crosshairs. So you're going to drag the crosshairs across your artboard like this with your mouse, and as soon as you let go, close this, it will put your screenshot here on your desktop, and then this is what you're going to turn into Canvas for me to earn your second badge, and then your third badge is for you to try to recreate a scene like this, or the Sonic gift card one. See if you can make your own little details. You can do the surfboard again, but do it in the way that you want it to be, the umbrella. You have a chance to personalize your next one and get that work completed for your third badge. So I hope you guys had fun. I hope you learned some stuff with Adobe Illustrator, and then let's keep on going. Show me all the cool stuff you guys can create.